kind of fun. I will say the last like few months I've been kind of not playing around with the idea, just trying to figure out exactly what I want to make content on and like which portion of or like what part of Web3 do I see a potential future as an industry. Because like there are people who tweet at, I think NFT God said this a bit too extreme, even honestly, in my opinion, for what I've heard him say. But he's always like, and it's the classic. Once NFTs are mainstream, no one will know it's an NFT. Once it's Web3 is this, blah, 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 blockchain will be behind the scenes, that kind of thing. Which like, okay, great. And we've had this conversation on the stream before, but like, where the fuck does that leave everyone who's in Web3 and NFTs? If Web3 and NFTs, it's an industry. And that's why I always back the PFPs, because the PFPs are like the backbone of NFTs, to be honest, in the same way that crypto has all the altcoins. The altcoins are what give the crypto substance. It's like why people even bother to care about half the projects in there. And with NFTs, I'm like, okay, so the PFP is a little bit, a small part of the industry. I'm like, where does the rest of the industry go? Like, what do in the same way that the fitness industry, people work out, they go to the gym, they watch YouTube videos about working out, they watch YouTube videos about nutrition, but they're going to do gym. In Web3, it's like, I guess they're buying stuff and they're buying collect. I guess that's what the equivalent of that would be. But I'm just trying to figure out where that industry is, like what is the niche, and then what is the skill I need to do to be able to get that. And I think I've landed on trading and making that a streaming thing. But what do you think, Philip? Like, what do you think is the part of the industry you want to sit in as either YouTube, or maybe you want to change and do other things? Like, what do you think?
The thing that excites me about Web3 is how it's going to fall into the marketing mix for companies. So my background, I'm a BCom marketing, a Bachelor of Commerce marketing degree, and I run a marketing company, an advertising agency, where we've got very large clients. We do their promotional products, their merchandise, and we've been doing that for a very, very long time. Within the marketing mix, you've got different levels, right? And I would argue that merchandise is lower on the chain. It's like the lowest level of it, even though return on investment could be massive. I mean, if you think about it, if you had to take out a Super Bowl advert like our friends did, who wasted their $5 million.
Gabe Layden.
Yeah, what's this project's name?
Digidagaku.
Yeah. So if you think about it, and it's more than 5 million because you've got to spend 2 million or 3 million to design it. They also had to pay a fee to the marketing agency. So just call it 6, 7, 8 million, whatever, $8 million, okay, being spent for a few people, for a lot of people to see this ad that a lot of them didn't understand. If you then think about it and say, okay, if we did this, we took $500,000. And how big is the stadium? 80,000 people. We bought 80,000 caps and did Digidagaku on those caps. It will cost us $1 million. Give it free. As you walk in, there's your cap. And every single person in that stand is wearing a Digidagaku. You would get advertising the entire time because they're always focusing on people in the stands. And it's costing you a tenth of what it would have cost you to do a 30-second advert. Right. So I think promotional products and merch, merch in the NFT space is different to what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, we do the uniforms for BP, Siemens. When you walk in, their staff are wearing proper branded lounge shirts and things like that, all of that sort of stuff. But either way, I'm saying the value of promotional products is very high, but they're the lowest on the totem pole. And then you have your normal things like TV, you've got radio, you've got print media, whether that be magazine, now you social media, you've got digital, which is influencer marketing, all of those things. I think Web3 falls into that. So we're starting to see that. Starbucks is a perfect example. It is a part of a Web2 company, Starbucks, marketing campaign. Yep. It's a part of their campaign. They will promote their reward program on different media, whether that be radio, TV, even merch maybe, or whatever it may be. But in the end of the day, it falls into the marketing mix. And that is where I see the future of the technology being really, really instrumental. Token gating it, being able to prove that I'm a Starbucks customer, I spent this much with you, and allowing them to have a relationship with me, with Starbucks, to have a relationship with me, their customer, knowing what I like, what I don't like, tailor things to me, tailor rewards to me based on a blockchain of all the transactions I've ever done, where I've bought from, and learning more about me to be able to better serve me as a person, and that's really what excites me. That's not the only use case. I mean, we've on the show, you and I, there are so many different use cases. We say provenance when buying a property, your marriage certificate, when buying an expensive watch, when buying an expensive real life artwork. All of that can be on the blockchain and then at least proven. There's a lot of different things. Ticketing is another example that we spoke of 2 weeks ago, which is amazing, because it is good for token gating. Music, if you want to protect your royalties, you can make it that literally every time that song is played online, automatically the artist gets paid and the producer gets paid without anyone being able to screw anyone over. So there's a lot of use cases, but personally, I'm most interested in the adding value to the consumer. Web2 brands that exist already that are going to integrate it and learn more about their customers and be able to communicate better with the customers and reward them.
But what do you want to like? Are you trying to cover it as like the PFPs? Like where do you see yourself as a content creator, or do you even do you think that potentially that might end in a few years?
I think there'll always be value to CryptoPunks and Bored Apes and possibly Pudgy Penguins and one or two more that will come in. Captains has done well as a new one to come in. Azuki is obviously building something. They're building companies behind it. But I think the days of it just being popular just because it is an NFT, which is what Bored Ape started as, are gone. I think you need to have it as a small part of your marketing mix, as adding value in some way to an existing customer company, that has its own income streams. In the beginning, you could just have a nice NFT. People bought it. You could live off the royalties very well, hire a whole team. Those days are gone. You need a real business use case.
But
So I'm saying it's going to be
well, I know that
part
but
of
where does that leave us
business.
for content? Like where would that leave you for content? If there's only say there's 7 projects left. Say it's Pudgy, Bored Ape Yacht Club, DeGods, Utes, fucking I don't know who else. Like 7 or 8 projects left. Where does that leave us for content? Like that was my original point. It's like with what is the industry though? Like if you're saying this is going to help the marketing, which I agree with you on all those points that you said a minute ago. Like where does that leave us though to make content about? That's where my head is.
All the big brands are going to come to you. Are going to come to you and say, "Kate, we Coca-Cola, we're going to be just like we see gaming companies go with big gaming YouTubers to get their game out there, and they want to launch an NFT. They're going to want a guy like you either to advise them or help them with things or things like that. I think it's not going to be so much NFT companies. I think it's going to be normal Web2 companies coming into this space and adding real value. They've already got a proven business and it's just going to add on to them as value. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out what I would be if we get to a point where all the blockchain Web3 stuff happens behind the scenes. There's nothing to talk about because people aren't in this. Like people made this analogy, like you don't ask how your light works or how your internet works because you don't care. So I'm trying to think if it does become so easy and baked into the back end, then no one's going to care. Like they're not going to care about the NFT Web3 part aside from the business side of it. But that leaves us with the content. You're like, you got to figure out a way to make it so that people care. And why would they care? And if we're at a place where everything's in the back end and we don't notice it, what is there to talk about? Like, what is there to talk
So
about?
you asked me what I'm most interested in. That's what interests me. But I think the future of it is that we are going into a more digital world. And part of that is the metaverse, and part of that is virtual experiences, and part of that is, and I do think there is going to be a time where you're going to want to flex virtually in the real world. Yeah. So we already see it with your PFP on Twitter. If your PFP is a Bored Ape, and you can verify that with the hexagon, that's a huge flex. Yeah. Now you're going to want to go see your Lady Gaga concert, and she's not in America at the moment; she's in somewhere else, and you're going to want to wear your Nike sneakers, your virtual Nike sneakers. So I think it's going to evolve into that sort of thing for you. And like if you're asking me where your space could be, I think that's really where it's going to be. Yeah, that's where you're going to be covering it. That's where it's exciting. That's where projects are, and me too. I mean, I'm here to advise and help and whatever. But I mean, that's another part of it. I think it's just like the internet. It's like saying, where's the value of the internet? There are so many different things that we use the internet for. Some we don't even know. Right, like you and I right now are broadcasting a live show on the internet, and we don't really know we're using the internet. But there's other times where you know very well that you're using the internet, and that is part of other things that you're doing. So it's just going to become the norm in that people are going to gather more in this 3D metaverse. And we're seeing Facebook developing the Oculus glasses, and where you're literally going to feel like you're there. And I think the reason also that we had such a pump 2 years ago, and I think everyone would agree, was because of Corona. We were all stuck at home. We were all craving that human interaction. We couldn't have it, and so overnight, Zoom and Teams and that sort of stuff. And everyone wished there was a town square where we could go to and literally see each other virtually without. And so that's come down a bit because in most countries it's under control and restrictions have been put down, and people crave now the physical, but they've had a taste of the digital, and there's definitely value to it, because I can't get on a plane tomorrow and go see my favorite artist in America. I've got children, I've got a wife, I've got a business, I've got clients. I can't do that, but I can do it virtually, and I'd love to do that with my favorite artist. So I don't know if that answers you, but that's my
helps.
thinking.
Yeah, I've just been thinking about it for the last few months because I'm like just trying to figure out which direction I want to take it, which makes the most sense, what I can, because it's hard for me to build anything when I don't have any direction or any clue of sort of the framework of how it's going to go. So I've sort of been like, it feels like at a standstill. Like, of course, podcast has been the top priority because the sponsor. So I was, obviously trying to hold up my end of the bargain or my end of the deal. And now like that contract's over, so we're trying to figure out if we want to do the same thing or keep going or stop or whatever. So now I'm like, okay, if this doesn't continue, then like which direction do I want to take it? Do I want to get an Oculus and start making a fuck ton of content in that world and start talking about that? Do I want to continue the podcast? Like, what do I want to do? And then that's just been leading me to sit here and overthink about videos I need to make, videos I want to make, videos I think I should make, and that has been the last.
So I think my advice to you, if you're able to, and I don't know if you're able to, is to really focus on what you have a passion in, because that passion will come through in your videos. And you actually gave me that advice. Remember, you said like do a thing about twin parenting with NFTs or something. Something, even if it's a small niche. I think trying to always figure out what the most popular thing is going to be is a fool's game. I think you should find what you really are passionate about within the space, whether that be gaming, whether that be trading, whether that be coins, whether that be NFTs, whatever, or a mixture of all of it. And make that content, because people see your excitement, and that will naturally lead to opportunities that you can't even picture, because a guy's going to be watching and see, geez, this guy's really, really pumped about meme coins. I want to launch a meme coin. I'm taking him on as a 50% partner, and we're going to launch it together or whatever. But there's got to be that legitimate. I think people see through crap. I really do. I mean, not only on YouTube. I just think in general. So whatever you're really passionate about, that's what you should focus on. And that's also why, I don't know if you've noticed, but the shows of the last couple of, I'd say 6 or 7 weeks with you and I've really dialed down the crypto related stuff, and I'm focusing just on mostly NFT projects. Really, because NFTs is my passion more. I'm not a crypto trader. I see the opportunity there. It's a huge casino. People can make huge amounts, but that's not really my thing. The thing that I really love is blockchain technology. That's it, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And if that resonates with people, great, and if not, great. I mean, either way, I do think people will see that this is genuinely how I feel, and over time, I'll get respect for that, and the right people will approach me with the right things. So that would be my advice for you: is really whatever you enjoy and interests you, that within the space, build on that, and the rest will follow.
Yeah, because I was also looking at like what I want my target audience to be. Like, who am I trying to target? What's the goal of the content? I think I've just been
don't overthink it.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, remember with me and you, just remember one thing. When I reached out to you, I was a fan of yours. And it wasn't necessarily even the content that it was. It was just I haven't really even thought about it. Maybe I just identified with a guy being honest and building and being himself online. And I think if you lose that, if it's so much about just trying to find where everyone is, it's not worth it. I think you just got to be that. Just be that complete. As you see what you get, don't tell people what they want to hear. If you disagree with, if Elon Musk comes on your podcast and you disagree with him, Tell him you disagree. That's what I loved about you. And that's what I loved, and I still love that about you. You tell me all the time, and it doesn't matter that I've got a business and I'm 40 and you 25 and you don't. Yeah, I've got 3 kids. I'll say something. You say to me, Philip, I completely disagree. That's what I love about you. That's what your viewers love about you. So just be real. Is my advice. And the best way to do that is find what you're passionate about and focus on whatever that is and be real about it. And the rest will follow.
Yeah, can we get a mic drop or something, fam, or like or retweet or something? Jesus Christ!
I'll drop a mic.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll drop a mic because this freaking mic is dropped. This freaking mic, it's quite a long story, but it doesn't work when I'm do it the way I'm doing it. I have to use these for now. It says Safari doesn't yet allow this access, but if I try to move to another browser, then I have other issues. But either way, that's a story for another day. But Ken, I hope that helped, my friend. I'm always available one-on-one if you want.